The first speaker in this session is Dr. S.B. Roy, and the topic of our presentation is developmental activities related to thorium purification and metal production. Dr. Roy is Associate Director of Chemical Engineering Group and Head Uranium Extraction Division at Bhabha Atomic Research Center.
So
and
this is
yeah. So, Dr. Roy.
good afternoon, everybody, and thanks to the organizer for giving me this opportunity. Thanks also to the chairman for the introduction and for his very excellent presentation. My talk will be continuation to that or similar. And being at the end of this session, it gives me a very good advantage that many things have already been discussed, so I may go very fast. And my batchmates have already motivated me, saying that most of us are so gray-haired or bald, doesn't go inside, so don't bore us with this lot of chemistry, metallurgy and all those things. Just tell us what are the endpoints and what are the deliverables which can be really useful for the department. So I will specifically do that. Thank you. This is title of the talk is developmental activities related to thorium purification and metal production. So this is a divisional activity. Uranium Extraction Division has done this, so I sincerely acknowledge the help of all my colleagues. The major highlights is the separation of uranium and thorium using solvent extraction technique. This is not very new, but what is new is that we have used two novel extractants which have been developed and produced by our own department, Heavy Water Board. And development of analytical techniques and facilities for thorium, Dr. Ramkumar has already given, so I will just touch upon what all we have done. Preparation and characterization of the thorium metal powder, I think that is new, that is we are the only manufacturer at this moment, so that I can put little extra. Studies on effect of the process parameters on the particle size during this production of thorium metal. And thorium-uranium alloy development and its characterization. Partly, Dr. Jagtap has already said. I will only highlight which is different from that side. So, morning, Patrasab has already said this monazite separation is all. Our aim of developing this solvent extraction process was not to start this monazite activity, but whatever scrap, alloy, metals we are generating with this thorium uranium, as uranium will be in the enriched form, so it was a requirement for us to develop a solvent extraction process by which we can separate the enriched uranium fully from the thorium. So on that basis we started this process, because the existing process which is being used at IREL, that is amine chloride process, where we faced few problems like HCl medium creates corrosion problem in structural material, third phase formation, and less uranium loading capacity of the solvent during extraction. So based on all these problems, we thought of generating an alternate process for separation of uranium and thorium from thorium-uranium scrap alloy, and then we have extended it to the monazite source based on organophosphorus extractant, as I said, developed by our Heavy Water Board. Two novel extractants were tried. One is 2-ethyl hexyl phosphate, another was triisoamyl phosphate. So what we did, we just checked the efficiency of this. The first is that 2-ethyl hexyl phosphate, efficiency of that with thorium uranium metal scrap to see how much separation factor we can get, and then it was extended it for the monazite separation. So why THP? THP is a homologue of established solvent TBP. Separation of uranium, hexavalent uranium over thorium using THP is better than TBP. And uranium loading capacity for THP is higher than TBP without third phase formation. Equilibration time is comparable to TBP. Even your solubility of in the water aqueous phase is also comparable. So these are basic properties. Now in this we can see for the distribution of uranium in this solvent is much higher than tributyl phosphate. This is for the TBP and this is for our THP. And in case of thorium, it is just opposite. This is for THP and this is for TBP. So thereby we have a very good separation factor. We can see this is for 1.1 molar THP, it is 17.1, whereas in this case of TBP, it is 7.6, and it has gone up to 20.4, whereas this remains near about 7. This is very important for us because when you use enriched uranium, your uranium recovery should be very high. And additionally, we said how does it change with the molality of the nitric acid and then with the concentration of the extractant. We have seen that if you reduce, dilute the extractant for this dilute solution, whereas our ranges was around 1 GPL, you get a very good separation factor. So based on that, as we have to do the engineering for recovery systems, we did our McCabe-Thiele diagram construction. We have seen now 3 stages were sufficient to come out of this in this range. So it may be if you put your stage efficiencies, it will come a reasonable number. For the thorium also we have seen thorium, we have tried with triamyl phosphate, where we could see that this also we are able to take back within 4 stages. So based on this 2 observations, we just extrapolated it with the monazite source, and with monazite we have checked the conditions and we have developed a flow sheet. Here up to this points, when it will be sodium hydroxide treatment, then dissolution with HCl for the rare earth phosphate removal, and then the cake is dissolved in nitric acid HF system. HF will be in the trace quantities, and now it has become a nitric acid solution, which has been taken with this solvent extraction process using TEHP, where we have separated out in the uranium in the solvent, and after that it was stripped with 0.05 normal nitric acid, and uranium was precipitated as uranium peroxide, though it has not achieved the nuclear grade purity, but it is reasonably pure. And from the aqueous phase or from the raffinate, the thorium was taken out by using TIAP. Here also recovery was very good and purity was better than uranium purity. So conclusion, here this separation of uranium thorium from nitric acid medium was investigated using THP, and we could get a good separation. And construction of McCabe-Thiele diagram shows that within a reasonable number of stages, we are able to extract and strip it back from the system, which is a requirement for the production level. Similarly, for stripping of this one, uranium of 6, we used stripping of the uranium 6 from the 0.2 m THP in paraffin loaded organic. 3 stages were sufficient to strip all the uranium to aqueous phase using water as stripant. Yeah, I forgot to say that this is water was as a stripant for this case. And the recovery of uranium 6 from the actual monazite leach solution was carried over in a 5-stage countercurrent mode, employing 0.1 m THP. Similarly, the thorium from the raffinate solution was recovered in 5 stages countercurrent mode using 1 m TIAP in paraffin solution. Development of analytical facilities for thorium, these are only, we have listed that whatever was needed for doing our work, we have developed at our facilities, including dissolution of the sample till the alloy composition evaluation. Now thorium metal, as why we are little, we can say that ahead of time, because right now people are working with thorium metal, nobody is asking for that. But as we know that metallic fuels are having a lot of advantages which has already been discussed in so many times. So we just wanted to highlight this point here. Thorium metal has got advantage of higher melting point, 1755 degrees centigrade, no phase change up to a temperature of 1400 degrees centigrade over uranium, where uranium melting point is 1132 degrees centigrade and first phase change is at 667 degrees centigrade. So based on this, we started checking of preparation a method for this thorium metal, and we developed this process for calciothermic reduction of thoria to get thorium metal powder. The basic changes, actually this process was earlier also tried at AFD, and they have mastered part of the issues, but presently they are not doing it, so it was revived by our division. And the basic changes were there. This leaching process was done with acetic acid, where our losses has reduced and impurity content also, oxidation problem also has been reduced. And after leaching with acetic acid, this metal was washed with acetone. After vacuum drying, we store it in the inert atmosphere. This gives around 99% purity, which can be used as the commercial quality, but not for the thermodynamic activities. But we wanted to use it as a alloy preparation for the fuel, so for us it was good enough. So characterization of this thorium powder is around 99% and this oxygen content 2000. Tap density is different densities we do. This was around 2 gram per cc. And particle size is average particle 35 micron. Size range is 3 to 200 microns. And color was silvery gray. This gives you the SEM micrograph of this thorium powder. These are single particles, these are agglomerated. And here we give a comparison of the uranium particles, uranium powder, which also we produce. There you can see this is more spherical because of this lower melting point. So while after the reduction, when the primary particles are formed, they are more uniformly done. Which is not so here for the thorium. However, after leaching, you can get a free-flowing powder from this curd also. And this shows our stand with this impurity profile along with some few international ones. In-house produced thorium can be comparable with this internationally produced thorium metal. So calciothermic reduction of thoria produced thorium metal powder, reproducible purity more than 99%. The particle size ranges from 3 to 200 micron with a mean particle of 34.5 micron. And the presence of impurities are in the range that of typical powder produced through oxide reduction worldwide. Here, this only we wanted to show that there was not much of effect on the mean particle size and the particle size distribution due to the change in the soaking time within the range of our experimental parameters. However, with the soaking temperature and amount of calcium within the range of our experiment, we could see that there was some amount of effect, and based on this, we have just developed one relation so that we can utilize it for our production. Yeah, utilizing our in-house produced thorium and uranium, we did this alloy production activities, and our basic aim was the physical metallurgical study of the thorium-uranium alloy system, which can be taken for a conclusive end towards the nuclear fuel fabrication. So basically, Jagtap Sahab has already said all this points, so I don't want to put it here. Challenges also he has mentioned, and specifically I wanted to say that there was no basic data available on working on this metallurgical things, and one side it is very chemically active, other side it is radioactive, so handling this requires a special expertization, otherwise we will always waste the material. Actually, sometimes we wanted to purify this material, we have given this material to some other division for doing this iodide refining, the full material was waste, because if you don't have the expertization in handling this powder form, it is very difficult to get a good product. So these are few facilities. These are well known. Actually, we handle everything in this globe boxes. This is the as cast thorium finger and the rolled thorium. which is developed, produced in our lab. Salient features, Jagtap has again said, so I'm not going back to this. I just wanted to show that we have worked on the range from very low uranium to very high uranium alloy, or you can say uranium lean alloy till uranium rich alloy. So here this composition is thorium 52% wet percent uranium. Here you can see that the microstructure shows that they form a interconnected structure where more or less you can 50% you can see this thorium and the uranium presence. And here actually you really are not able to come out of the problem of uranium metal, means anisotropy or low melting points, those effects will be there. So there is no point in going in this matrix. This is, here you can see it is thorium 75 wet percent uranium. Here measure this matrix whole is uranium and thorium is in this dendritic distribution. So this also shows you the, gives you the maximum problem of uranium metal, whatever we face. This is ACM micrograph of this thorium 52U alloy, where we have did this analysis and composition certification was done. But in case of lower uranium alloy, that is thorium 3U, here you could see a very good thing. When we do this SEM, we could not get the trace the uranium presence of uranium, so we went to TEM. So here we could see this, here uranium is dispersed and this thorium matrix is a small globule form. Actually this is a designed fuel, like a dispersion fuel. It is behaving, so naturally it is getting distributed, dispersed, and we could observe that at the grain boundaries their concentrations were there very selectively. So this condition is a very useful condition for this fuel. So we wanted to see other properties like thermal conductivity and the coefficient of expansion. So here we could see with the, at this room temperature, when the uranium concentration is increased as expected, your thermal conductivity decreases, but in the range of the 3 uranium percent, it is still much high. And similar way, thermal coefficient also till 15% of uranium, there is not much of thermal expansion. Beyond that, it increases. So based on that, we have drawn few conclusions which can be checked up by our fuel fabricators to select a composition. So here we see that solute uranium in annealed thorium 3 wet percent uranium alloy is mostly located as tiny spheroids around 70 nanometer. Then uranium that comes out because of solid state diffusion in the thorium appears as tiny spheroids. High thorium uranium alloy do not suffer much of grain coarsening at reactor operation temperature. Means these compositions were kept longer under this temperature to see whether there is, as long as 30 days, whether there is any grain coarsening effect. That was not observed. With increasing uranium content in thorium uranium alloy, uranium forms a continuous network in the microstructure which is not desirable for radiation stability point of view. The room temperature, thermal conductivity of thorium decreases with addition of uranium in it. Nevertheless, room temperature thermal conductivity of thorium-rich uranium alloy still remains higher than most of the metallic fuels. The thermal expansion coefficient of the alloy remains nearly unaffected up to an addition of 15 wet percent of uranium, and drastic increase has happened beyond 30% uranium in the alloy. Based on the preliminary assessment of the microstructure and thermophysical properties of thorium uranium alloy system, it appears that thorium uranium less than 20% uranium alloys with appreciable thermal conductivity and lower thermal expansion behavior can probably serve as metallic fuel in reactor, provided other important factors are also investigated. So the irradiation stability of thorium-uranium alloys having higher uranium content can be improved by stabilizing the isotropic gamma phase of uranium at room temperature by suitable alloying. This also we have tried. And now we have made samples for irradiation studies. Probably this has been given to RED, Hall 7 for irradiation studies. Once the studies are over, we'll be able to see the relative stability under irradiation effect. So though it is a developmental activities, there are a good number of deliverables. The latest one is the thorium metal provided to AFD for preparation of thorium foil for physical research laboratory, which they were not able to get anywhere in India. And the work contribution, the work presented here have been contributed by many colleagues, and especially Kane Harindran, Sujay Biswas, Hemant Parashar, Shantanu Das, Raj Kumar, and Praveen Srivastav, Sheetal Thakur, I must appreciate. And acknowledgement, we sincerely acknowledge the help received from Sri Santu Kaiti and Jayadipta Banerjee from RMD Energy for characterization. We also acknowledge the help received from Suman Niyagi from MSD for doing this TM. Thank you very much. IREL for giving our thoria powder. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Roy. The presentation is open for discussion, questions, comments. Yes.
Madam, I have a comment on purification by iodide refining. In this case, perhaps iodide refining may not be necessary. Iodide refining is a slow process. If you can allow for some loss of thorium, then perhaps sacrificial deoxidation by electron beam melting purification may be better.
That has been recently tried by AFD, and we are successful in that.
Okay, so
Thank
this
you
was
for
one
your
comment.
comments. Thank you.
And second comment, I thought that when you are preparing thorium metal by calciothermic reduction of thorium oxide, you said you are adding calcium oxide, perhaps for container preparation.
Calcium oxide
for
calcium metal.
No, calcium oxide also you showed in your flow sheet somewhere you are adding calcium oxide. I don't know whether it's for container preparation.
That may be a... that is the lining.
Anyway, perhaps lining is not required in this case because thorium doesn't melt and calcium would be compatible with most of the container materials, even if they are metals.
No, this we have tried and we have seen that it is better for reusing the reactors for quite a longer time.
Okay.
This lining is required.
Any more comments? Yes, Professor.
I have a question about, can you make thorium-plutonium alloy too?
Actually, we don't have expertise in handling plutonium. So probably Arun Kumar, who presented previously, they are expert in plutonium handling. If they can take the material and they can do it. I think it's not an impossible thing.
I think it will work the same way as uranium,
huh? I'm not sure. That's what I'm telling. I'm not an expert in plutonium. So probably that aspect has to be seen by the plutonium experts.
Well, Dr. Das, you have a comment on this? Yeah.
No, I think the preparation-wise, the thorium-plutonium alloy will not be difficult, those who are handling plutonium. So I believe that there won't be any, except the
issue, there may not be an issue.
I have one question actually, I just want to ask. Yeah? Yeah, so what I...
Keep the mic close to your...
Yeah, I think it's not... Hello. See, actually what the question was about the plutonium-thorium alloy preparation. To that I responded that actually except the radiotoxicity, the making the alloy of thorium-plutonium, there won't be much issue. Those who can handle plutonium, they can easily do that. And I am having an added question actually. Since the thorium will be the fuel, metal or alloy, the oxygen content is there, and how much extent the oxygen is to be removed? I mean, some protocol you have to reach.
Actually, it has been observed that fabricability is not very much affected by your oxygen content, whereas carbon is a difficult thing, so carbon removal is needed. Oxygen till 1500 it is used. That reference we got.
No, because many thermophysical properties in the presentation we saw that have been measured,
Yeah.
Even to the extent of 1%, weight percent. 1 weight percent is equivalent to nearly 15 atom percent of oxygen. That is quite high chemistry-wise, appear to be high. It can affect the thermophysical property, but as
Here
you
we have
say,
given
is
it
not.
is in ppm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all. Then let's thank Dr. Roy once more for a very crisp presentation. Thank you very much.